Back inside Artesian Football, joined now on a little wider set, if you will, by the offensive line, a couple of offensive linemen, and the offensive line coach, really assistant head coach as well, with Justin Byers. And Justin, why don't you talk about who we got in here right now?
We got first guy here is John Rapalo, starting center for your Martinsville Artesians, and David Lopossa on the far right in the red shirt. He's a starting right tackle for the Arties.
Before we get to them a little bit, let's talk a little bit about how the season's been going for you thus far, and how you think this line that has kind of grown up a little bit, kind of had to be pieced together with some injuries, how they have progressed thus far through the first 8 games this season.
Well, we really did have to bring these guys along, and they're really great kids. You know, we struggled early, as you guys know, starting 0-4, and we lost our only returning starter, Matt Haggard, and you know, we threw in some sophomores, found some juniors, left Callan where he was, and these guys really responded. Every day they came in with a positive attitude, busted their rear ends, got after it. In drills, in practices, in scout team, anything we ask these guys to do, they really come in and give it 110% and give it their all and get better every single rep. That's what we preach. Every single rep, get better. Don't take a play off. Don't take a day off. Every rep, we get better.
John, can you talk a little bit about how you think the season's gone thus far for you there for the Artesians on the center on the offensive line?
Well, it's been pretty good. You know, first 4 games was a little shocker for us, but eventually we got better. Practices have been hard, but been really good for us, as you can see by the games, and we just been getting after it every game.
David, can you talk a little bit about how you think what the team's done, what you've seen as some of the improvement, and what you think's been the difference here in the last couple of games?
I think we've all kind of come together. We've all started clicking. We've all kind of grown up together, and we've all just started meshing a little bit more on the offensive line, and we're all starting to just execute a lot better.
Let's talk a little bit about that execution. Coach Byers, you guys have been executing better. And the last couple of weeks has been the run game that have really done very well. Last week you got the passing game going again. What's been some of the keys for you guys being able to continue that growth process?
Well, just when we go out into practice and we rep these plays and we individual what we're going to do in the game. So, for instance, we may do trap blocks with just the guard, down blocks with just the center, and it's really, the kids have really came out and worked hard getting those individual steps down. And then when you put all the pieces of the puzzle together, that's the result you see on Friday nights, rushing for 300 against Whiteland, putting up 40 against Mooresville, so on and so forth. And you know, it's easy. It's a credit to these guys. It's the work they've put in that you're seeing come to light on Friday nights.
This Friday night, you guys have the Plainfield Quakers. What are some of the things that you guys are going to have to do to try to be successful there on that offensive line?
We got to be good on our down blocks. That's Big John here. He's going to have to come down, and they got a guy that's a one technique. That's the inside shoulder of the guard. He's going to have to come down and handle that guy. And another big emphasis we've had this whole week, we've done it every day, is blocking linebackers. We got to go out, demeanor down, which means sink your hips and get onto linebackers. Right, fellas?
Yes, sir.
We're going to blow them up this week. We're going to get to those linebackers.
That seems like that's a point of contention. Have you heard that a lot this week? Get on the linebackers. What have you guys talked about, John, this week? I know he said some of it, but what are you guys going to have to focus on this week to try to be successful?
The same thing he said. Focus on down blocking, get into those backers, hurrying up to the ball, and just play one heck of a game.
David, for you, what are you going to have to do on your side of the ball?
Just going to have to be a lot quicker, be more crisp in blocking the linebackers, and a lot quicker on my polling, and just fit and finish and getting some pancakes.
I think you're making the head coach or the assistant coach here, your head coach, if you will, your offensive line coach, proud. He's smiling over here, hearing things I think he's preached all week in practice, so they've heard that a lot, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
All right, you guys coming up then, you're going to have sectional. We don't want to look ahead too much, but you got the Whiteland Warriors. You get to be at home. How excited are you guys to be able to get that opportunity after the Plainfield game to be able to play at home in that sectional coming up, John?
Oh, I'm very excited. You know, get to get some payback for the mistakes I've done against Whiteland, and I just want to come out there, play my heart out.
David, how about for you?
I want to beat them just as bad, if not even better, at home. I want to take it to them.
All right, so that's what you got coming up in a couple of weeks. Justin, we appreciate you bringing the big fellas in here. I know you got your band lifted, so I think you did well this time. So Coach Kutruff will let you come back a little bit more often, don't you think?
I think so.
I think we could liven things up a little bit, coming in here a little bit with you sometimes.
Yeah.
You can ask Justin later about what that's all about.
We'll get a whiteboard back up here.
Yeah,
we'll
we
start
can
drawing.
drawing some plays for when you're taking things out. 2 people may know what's going on, but you can get up and coach us up a little bit, all right?
Yeah.
That's Artesian offensive line coach Justin Byers. Brought in a couple of his linemen as well, John Rapalo, David Lopossa. Appreciate them taking the opportunity to come in here and talk with us. The big fellas don't get a lot of credit sometimes, but when you see the big holes opening up, when you see the guys putting up the big numbers, it's really a direct result of what those guys are doing out there on the field. So we appreciate them taking the time to come in. We'll take a break. We're going to ship them out, be able to close the set down a little bit, bring in the head coach, not too much, but bring in the head coach, Fred Kutruff, back in here, and we'll wrap things up. We'll do that when Inside Artesian Football continues. Artesian Outdoors, the Bass Pro Shop on State Road 37 next to 84 Lumber. Inside you'll find a shop crammed full with all your hunting and fishing needs. Artesian Outdoors, the Bass Pro Shop, carries a full line of archery and hunting supplies of all types. And they have a giant selection of tackle, live bait, and fishing gear. And catalog ordering is also available every Monday. For all your hunting and fishing needs, stop by Artesian Outdoors, the Bass Pro Shop on State Road 37 next to 84 Lumber behind O'Neill Mulch.
Shop at Keller's Office Supply at 159 North Main Street in Martinsville for all your school and office supply needs. When you come to Keller's, you'll find superstore prices with a hometown service. Keller's has a wide variety of supplies from paper clips to office furniture. They also have a large selection of printer cartridges to choose from. Keller's offers same-day delivery for all your office and janitorial needs. And if they don't have your supplies in stock, they can deliver it to you the next day. Keller's is a proud sponsor of the Martinsville community.
Come to Keller's. We'll treat you like family.
$5 footlong. $5 footlong. $5 footlong.
Come into Martinsville Subway and enjoy a $5 footlong today.
Back inside Artesian Football with the head coach Fred Kutruff. Just had offensive line coach. Like you said, it's a big day. Justin Byers was kind of formally released today to be able to speak to the media, so that was a good thing. And,
the band is off.
The band is off, which is good, and had a couple of his linemen in here as well. He does a fantastic job, and the linemen have been getting better and better all year.
Well, Justin does a lot of things you never even see. He's my right-hand man, and he probably doesn't get enough. A meal here or there kind of keeps him happy. But
just one.
I tell you, he's really done a great job. Our offensive line, we were inexperienced. Didn't have a lot of. We had one guy returning. That guy gets hurt, and Matt Haggard, and he had to bring. We got 2 sophomores in there, 2 juniors, and we brought in. And of course, we've already had Matt Callan on. And he's just done a great job. And we've also added to the mix is Fred Roman, who's helping out with the offensive line. So probably been our most, I think, the most improvement. We're just watching them. We're not grading out all the time. Probably graded out the best we ever did last week. But even when we're not grading well, we're playing very physical. And if you play physical, you're still going to win a lot of football games.
Let's talk about a game coming up on Friday night. You wrap up the regular season. We'll get to that in just a second. But your final regular season game of the year will be at home against Plainfield. The sectional draw comes out this week. You draw a familiar foe. You drew them a couple years ago in the Whiteland Warriors. But the good thing is that we finally get a home game and get a host as they come to town.
Someone said it was first in 12 years. I've heard different. I'm not sure.
2003, I believe.
So anyhow, it's just nice to be home. It's going to be a tough opponent. We're not going to worry about them until next week. And we got to deal with Plainfield, and then we'll talk about Whiteland.
Let's talk about the Quakers then coming up. The opponent on Friday night. This is a team comes in 2-6. Like you said, though, if you look at their record, a little bit deceiving. They've been in just about every ball game thus far.
They're right there, and I think our guys will be ready. They're not going to overlook them. They had Whiteland beat, had them tied up, and then Whiteland has a long drive at the end of the game to win the score, to win the game. And they do a lot of good things. They're well coached. They're going to play solid defense. They were very good against us last year. They didn't do a whole lot, but they were very patient, and they made us. And we had a couple turnovers, ended up getting it. And then they're very good at doing some formations and some motions, try to get you in a bad situation. And their coaches are good at taking advantage of it. So we've got, we've prepared all week. Hopefully, those things don't happen. But you just never know when you're dealing with 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. But I think we'll be ready. But it's going to be a heck of a game.
Let's talk about what we'll see out of the Quakers on the offensive side of the ball.
Well, they like to play power football. You'll see that they like to run the Catholic toss, Catholic sweep, but they boot well. They, you're going to see a motion. You're going to see a lot of power. Try to play power football. They throw it. You'll see a lot of slot. They do I think do a good job. They run a slot with 2 receivers. Makes you pull out your outside linebacker, and then they try to run some power football. If you don't bump out, they run the bubble. They just do a lot of good things, and and they're getting better each week. They were very young, and we're young, but they're young also. So, and they're getting better each week. So I know it's going to be really tough.
Defensively, what can we expect out of them on Friday?
They should kind of stay in a base 4-2, our linemen call it, but basically a 4-4. And they'll do a little bit of stunning, not much, and they'll see if they can confuse us a little bit. Big thing is if we can get them into our game, if we can score some points early, then I think they'll be a little more aggressive. If it's a tight game, they're going to sit tight and see if we'll make a mistake. So, like I said, they got some good. They fly around, and they're getting better and better. Their defensive line is getting very aggressive watching them.
Keys to the game. What are you guys going to have to do to come away with a victory, make it 5 in a row, and head into the sectional on continue that win streak on a good note? Well,
this is the first team we played. We had Ron Colley. We knew who liked to run it. They threw a little bit. We knew Mooresville likes to run it. Try to throw a little bit. This is a team that I think is going to be very balanced. I mean, they're a power football team, but they're also not afraid to throw it and be very balanced doing that. So we can't give up the big play. We got to get off the field, and it's been a lot better. But our big struggle was always been that defending that pass. We've done a pretty good job the last few weeks, and this is a team that will go at it. On the offensive side of the ball, we've got to, we got to play like we've played the last few weeks. Make plays, catch the ball. Hayden's been playing really well for us. I think probably the backbone of everything. Our line's been protecting him, but he's been just running. He doesn't care if we throw it 5 times or 25 times. He just wants to win, and he did a good job at down in Indy, hitting the open guys, and like we said, he threw a 70-yard touchdown pass for that bubble. That was a great read. Kicks it out there, and then the switch route, he throws it about 15 yards, but it's a 70, I think 50, 60, 70, I'm not sure. Anyhow, he's doing a great job just running offense, taking what they give us, and so Hayden's got to have a good game for us.
All right, Coach, appreciate you joining us. Good luck
Thanks.
on Friday. Artesian head coach Fred Kutruff here inside Artesian Football. Martinsville on Friday wraps up their regular season on the road against the Plainfield Quakers. Kickoff set for 7 o'clock, and then next week we'll come back with Coach, hopefully talk about a victory and also take a look ahead at the Artesians contest against Whiteland in the first round of sectional. I'd like to thank the head coach for coming in. For Fred Kutruff, along with Justin Byers and his crew he brought in, and Carl Van Dievender, I'm Eric Meyer. We'll see you again next time inside Artesian Football.